Hello, my name is Ian Latham and I'm a sculptor based in Doncaster. As part of Doncaster Council's Fighting Back Fund, I've been asked to give a short introduction to a very big subject, digital art. Digital art is not a movement or even a style. Works described as digital can be created using software, Photoshop for example, or using your iPhone to capture moving images. They can be made through the exploitation of chance in film collage, or found imagery, or worked as intensely as a photorealistic painting on a graphics tablet. In a very real sense, describing a work as digital is the same as describing it as an oil painting or a watercolour, digital as a medium. As such, digital art covers a range of disciplines: music, performance, dance, illustration, and can be created or presented in any or all styles. Charlotte Proger's Turner Prize-winning film Bridget saw her described widely in the press as an iPhone artist, and we have innumerable Instagram artists publishing work every day. The go-to description of the sort of work that gets tagged as digital for the critical press is new media, but this covers a similarly wide range of work: the generative art of Carl Sims and William Latham, Jean-Pierre Hebert's algorithmic art, Edward Tuft's information graphics, Laurent Mignonneau and Krista Summerer were creating organic digital art 20 years ago. Stellark has been exploring prostheses since the early 80s. The Tate has just staged a retrospective of Nam June Pak, the visionary multimedia artist who is, for many, the father of all of this. So we have digital art, computer graphics, computer animation, virtual art, interactive art, sound art, video games, computer robotics, 3D printing, cyborg art, and biotechnology as art, all crossing over with each other, mixing and matching. Mark Tribe, the American artist who founded Rhizome, a not-for-profit that promotes and disseminates net art, would have it that new media art addresses several themes: collaboration, identity, appropriation, open sourcing, telepresence, surveillance, corporate parody intervention, and hacktivism. Most critics would see it as a complex field converging around three main elements: the art system, scientific and industrial research, and political, cultural media activism. As artists, we each follow our own path. My own path starts with Wagner's notion of Gesamtkunstwerk, the total artwork, in which all the elements of a performance come together to make the artwork. His ideal was to unify all works of art through the theatre. The one thing Wagner didn't factor in was agency in his audience. This idea of immersion, agency, and involvement in artworks is essentially what virtual art is about. So let's start with a couple of early examples. Charlotte Davies was one of the founders of Softimage and has always been at the cutting edge of developments in 3D imaging. In 1995 she made this work, Osmos, an immersive installation in which computer-generated imagery is navigated by breathing through a haptic interface. The viewer enters the installation and sees two screens. One is clearly a film screen showing a projection. The other reveals a figure silhouetted against strong light, wearing some kind of breathing apparatus. As the viewer contemplated the experience, they became aware of the connection between the film and the breathing of the figure behind the screen. And one viewer got to be the person behind the screen, wearing the vest, putting the headset on, and really being immersed in the project. In 1997, Maurice Benayoun created Worldskin, a photo safari in the land of war, together with the composer Jean-Baptiste Barrière. It is an immersive installation often presented as a reference point in virtual art. one of the first virtual reality works with a specific content, the relation between war, personal engagement, and memory. Worldskin was awarded the Golden Nika at Ars Electronica 1998, the major distinction in interactive arts. In 2000, Geoffrey Shaw made this work, Place Roure. In it, the viewer can explore a three-dimensional virtual environment. The installation is physically constituted by a rotating platform that allows the viewer to interactively rotate a projected image within a large circular projection screen. It presents a virtual landscape containing 11 photographic cylinders that depict particular sites in the Ruhr area. The viewer can navigate this three-dimensional space and enter these panoramic cylinders. Once inside, the represented imagery becomes a surrounding cinematic performance which fills the projection screen and presents a pre-recorded situation as an immersive event. In 2009, at the age of 16, Palmer Luckey began experimenting with his own designs for head-mounted displays. The headsets on the market had low contrast, high latency, and a low field of view. They were also extremely heavy and expensive. Luckey launched Oculus VR in April 2012 with a Kickstarter campaign to build do-it-yourself kits for the Rift. This was when VR began to become consumer electronics rather than cave or installation-based exhibitions. As you'd expect, gaming has become the driver for developments creatively since. Artists have continued to work with the available technology, some using the tilt brush program that you're watching at the moment. This piece is by Stuart Campbell, known as Sutu Eats Flies, or using the HTC Vive Unbound platform, or Kodan or Make VR to sculpt, or Oculus Quill to paint. In 2019, I was awarded an ACE National Lottery Project grant to develop an interactive mixed reality installation. In an empty shop on Scott Lane in Doncaster, I built a 5-metre by 4-metre installation with film, sound, and a virtual world that expanded from it. The installation is experienced in both the physical and virtual worlds. It is a confined space, around 2.5 metres at its widest, and of a similar height, with illumination provided by a video projected onto a cloth at its end. The journey through the video is replicated in VR as the introduction to the garden spaces. The space has a soundtrack of birdsong that gradually gets louder with the interjection of thunder at some points as the audience passes. Additionally, there is a representation of the birds from within the VR that can be viewed as augmented reality objects using an Android app. The passage through the installation and its physical manifestation is replicated in the VR world as the player passes through into the video and enters the virtual garden. project allowed me to work with Mike Stubbs from Doncaster Creates, Wayne Sables from the Wayne Sables Project, and Ian Nichols, an established VR artist from Barnsley. In my own small way, contributing to the renaissance in art in Doncaster, which has seen Cast, Right Up Our Street, the Light Nights, the resurgence of the New Fringe, and of course the Doncaster Art Fairs. Thank you for watching. Thank you once again to the Doncaster Council Fighting Back Fund and to Chinwe Russell for the opportunity to share my interest with you.